Welcome back everybody. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the best Warzone Season 2 settings for my console players. Majority my console players. PC players, you have a lot more settings, extra settings, and I don't have a PC. I'm still with console, so it's mainly, like I said, for my console players. Now, before the video does start, I'm going to ask y'all one thing and one thing only. Give the video, drop a video a like. It really does help out the algorithm here on YouTube. It helps a lot of more people see this video, and it helps me, gets my video out there, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, getting started here, we're gonna get started with the controller settings. Now, my controller settings are tactical flip. I've been using tactical flip for a good minute now. It's just my personal preference, and since I play claw, I don't know, I think it's just really good for me. I slide with the right stick, makes it easier to slide, and then melee with circle makes it easier for me to melee. Now, a lot of y'all probably are on either default or tactical, but if you want to try different things out, there is this Charlie, whatever this is, Charlie tactical, bumper jumper, and bumper jumper tactical, which is actually sort of common. Kind of crazy that people jump with their L1 bumper and then they use circle for tactical equipment. Some people play like that. There's actually a good amount of people that actually play like that. And maybe you might be one of those people that might be a beast on, I don't know, a brawler or something, you know, whatever. Or bumper jumper, a bumper jumper tactical. My opinion, I like tactical. It's just better for me. And also one more thing, flipped. If you don't know what flipped is basically I flip my my aim down and shooting buttons in exchange for the tactical buttons and stuff like that, and the ones that I throw the grenade. So I'll be shooting with the top ones, and the bottom ones, this is my stun, this is my grenade, etc. Now that I think is just the best, because you don't, in that millisecond of when this touches down and registrate, when you just click this and you're already shooting, that small itty bitty difference does make a difference in that gunfight. Literally a few milliseconds could change a whole gunfight, especially with like lag and stuff like that online. It does make a difference. So I recommend everyone to at least try flip for 10, 15, 20 games and just try it out. Now, next, stick layout preset default. I never really actually touched this, so I don't mess with any of that. Invert, vertical look, I don't like my thing inverted. Now, Deadzone. Now, if you don't know what Deadzone is basically going to be different for everyone. My Deadzone is not going to be the same as your Deadzone. Now, basically, this is all just your controller's stick drift. Now, if your controller has stick drift, you want to make sure that you have the right Deadzone on this. To go test this, go into a Warzone match or private match or something. Line up your crosshairs on some sort of surface, and if they are moving without you touching any of your sticks, you have controller driven. You have to adjust your Deadzone settings, your minimum input Deadzone for both left stick and right stick. If you have Deadzone, if you still have controller drift after, I'll say, like a 0.15, yeah, you need to chalk that controller and get a new controller. Unfortunately, maybe that controller is just suffering from a lot of controller drift. It was very common on my original PlayStation 5 controller, the original white one that came with the console. That one had an insane amount of controller drift, to the point where, like, not even a year, it was like a few months after I had to get this black one, which actually I haven't really had any issues with it. So it's a big W. Now for me, my perfect Deadzone is 0.05, which is relatively pretty low. I did started to notice on 0.03 it started to move very slightly. So over time, every controller is gonna have stick drift. It's just the nature of controllers. So make sure you have your Deadzone at the right Deadzone for you. Just because a good player is rocking a very low Deadzone, like I think Diaz Biff was on like 0.02 or something like that, doesn't mean that that's the best setting to go with. That's because they have like a new controller or a scuff that has no controller drift. Now left stick max. Now the max Deadzone is basically just the max. This is just the minimum. You want to have this all the way up. If you have this down, you're gonna feel like you're basically playing on a mouse. You're basically playing on a mouse on a stick. So you don't want to feel that. I mean, unless you want to try it. Yeah, you don't want to play like that. So just max this out. Is the best, the smoothest. Now my sensitivity, my horizontal vertical sense is 9 this season. I actually did bump it up. There was at one point where I was using 4, 5, 6 for a good amount of time, but I think this season, y'all, I'm making the switch to 9 just because since we are on console, we're on 80 FOV, smaller FOV, we do see less, right? So having a little bit faster sensitivity is kind of a bit better, but you don't want to have a sensitivity that's too fast. I've seen people that play on 2020 on console. That is insane, literally. It says right there, insane. I don't recommend anything above 13 really, just because I think it's just too fast for console. Because if you turn around, you're probably gonna miss. It's probably just gonna blur them out because of how fast your sense is. So I think 9 actually for me is very, very perfect. I want one y'all boys on console to try 9. Please try 9. I think it's actually very good in the middle. Some of y'all might think, oh, boss, that is too slow or whatever. Just try it out, get used to it. So try that out. I think 9 is pretty good. Custom sensitivity per zoom. Now this is just a sensitivity when you're aiming down sight. I have it custom to my low zoom 2, 3 times and 4 times to a 0.90. It's just a little bit slower than if I was using like a sniper rifle with the 8765 times zoom. So that's what I have it. If you guys would just want to have it 1, I see a lot of pro players that actually have this a lot lower for their iron sight. Totally get that. Is way easier to control your aim when you're aiming down sight. So if you have a lot of issue where your aim is just kind of going all over the place while you're aiming down sight, you might want to lower down this a little bit, probably like by 10 or 20. It depends how much. So that's that. Aim response curve type dynamic. For me, it is the best. Supposedly it is the best. You get the best rate control with dynamic, the best response or whatever. I've always recommended if you are a sniper, someone that snipes in the back, linear is the way to go. Dynamic is for the rusher, kind of like me. I like to rush things and stuff like that. Like to play fast, so dynamic is the way. And standard, it's kind of just, if you don't know, if you're not a rusher, you're not a sniper, you don't camp, but you don't rush like crazy. You in the middle grounds, play patient. Standard is the way. Also dynamic, we either the one. I prefer dynamic. Control vibration, have this disabled. Aim assist, standard is the way to go. I've tried these other two, don't recommend because you don't get any hip fire aim assist. So aim assist, standard aim assist is the way to go. These are all just standard. Use reload, behavior, contextual tab. That's how I pick up all the things fast in Warzone and stuff like that. Want to make sure you have that to contextual tab. Armor play behavior, apply all. You don't have to hold it down while you're aiming, while you're running away from somebody or you're getting chased. Just all you do when you have this setting on is when you're plating up, you just have to press it once and it fully plates you up without you having to hold it. Especially if you don't like to play claw. I know a lot of y'all don't like to play claw. Now slide behavior, tap, unless your DS Biffle that does it on hold. I don't recommend hold. It takes longer, it's harder to slide cancel and get around these corners. Tap is just makes everything way more easier. All you have to do is just tap the stick or just tap your button and you're sliding. That's improve your movement. Trust me, y'all, it really does improve movement. Auto move forward, disable, tactical sprint, double tap. Now, oh, actually, this doesn't even matter if you have automatic tactical sprint, which is just you just press your stick up and you're automatically sprinting. I mean, if you don't have this, I don't know what you're doing. It's just the best way to get around. If you really don't like it, I know a few. I think Nick Merckx actually plays with this disabled. When he still played Warzone, he actually always played it with it disabled. So if you don't, you kind of those that kind of don't like tactical sprint automatic, I can see why, but I think automatic tactical sprint is just the way to go for movement wise nowadays. I mean, everyone's good now. Everyone has good movement nowadays, especially if you play Rebirth a lot. You gotta get in them angles, especially in prison and stuff like that. So yeah, automatic tactical sprint is the way to go nowadays. Parachute auto deploy, have this to disabled so I can land lowest to the ground. My graphics, safe area lowest, camera movement 50, world motion blur disabled, weapon motion blur enabled. do get a smoother gameplay when I have it enabled. I don't know why, but lately I had it disabled actually, but I turned it back to enabled, and I just noticed that my gameplay, it just feels so much more smoother, and I'm actually just been dropping more bombs. I don't know, it just gameplay feels better, especially on console, 60 FPS or 30 FPS on PS4. It just makes your game feel like you're playing at a higher frame rate. So yeah, I recommend weapon motion blur on, not world motion blur. Keep that in disabled, but weapon, enable it. Film grain 0, just remember enabled. Brightness 50%. On demand texture streaming, have this disabled, or else you're gonna start lagging all over the place. Excuse me. Interface disabled. Color blind type Deadzone. Now this is the best. This is basically disabled, but just with a more poppier, juicier colors. And also, if you're on PlayStation 5, you actually get to enhance this setting when you go to your settings, accessibility, and then you go down here to color correction, and you could actually enhance this by adding another color filter onto your game. If you want to play on grayscale, you can do that. If you want to play, if you like Protonopia, you could put more Protonopia. If you like Deadzone, you want to add a little bit more juice to those colors, you could do that, which is what I did. I have it kind of right here, like 40%, 35% of intensity. And then if you like the blue, yellow Trinopia, you could also go with that. So it's actually pretty cool setting that they have for PlayStation 5. PlayStation 4, unfortunately, does not have that setting, but PS5 does. I'm not sure about Xbox. I don't have an Xbox. Colorblind target, make sure to have that to both so you actually see it in your game. Tooltips enabled. Minimap shape square. This is all just normal stuff. Normal stuff. What else? In-game alert icons, have this to enable so I can see what's going on in game. Any alerts and stuff like that. Now audio is a big thing. Now I'm gonna be honest, yo, I don't really know which one is the one to go, because audio is kind of just chalked in Warzone right now, to be honest. But I think just the best ones to use will either be boost low or boost high. Really, just because of the frequencies. Boost high, I feel like you get a better quality sound, but it's more on the higher frequency, so those footsteps are not as bassy, as more as a thump as on boost low. It's kind of easier to identify the difference. And all these other ones are just way too quiet for wearing headphones. There was a point in time where I was using midnight mode. It kind of is more of a calm down version of midnight mode, but boost low, I mean boost low. So like I said, boost low, I think boost low is the best one to use. It's kind of enhances those footsteps surrounding more of a bassier sound. Master volume to 60%. Music 0, dialogue 50, effects 95, yada, kind of just normal stuff here. MW hit markers. Mono audio, make sure to have this disabled. Only have it enabled if only one side of your headphones work and the other side doesn't, but if they both work, have this disabled so you can actually get bi-directional audio there. And this is just voice chat settings and yada. Disable word track so you don't have loud music in your ear. So that is basically all for my settings for season 5. Nothing really much. Like I said, we are on console. Unfortunately, we don't get that big 120 FOV setting and stuff like that. So yeah, that sucks. But hey, if you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you. Comment, I don't know, comment giraffe in the comments so I know that you made it to the end. Either way, appreciate y'all boys. Take care. I'll see y'all in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.